Hello and welcome back to the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Ferguson, writer for UCLA on SI. Today we're going to be taking a look at UCLA's semifinal loss to Purdue, things that went wrong, and what this kind of means for UCLA moving forward. But before we get started, I want to thank everyone right now who's listening. Apple Music, Spotify, or even YouTube. It all means a lot to me, and I cannot thank you enough. But without further ado, let's get right into it. UCLA has been on an absolute heater recently. I think everyone knows that. You know, before this game, they were on like a 4-game win streak. And they looked like they were playing some great basketball. And it really looked like they could have ran the table. But, you know, UCLA has been able to avoid injuries for most of the season. That's kind of why they've been able to make it this far to begin with in the Big Ten tournament. But, you know, that caught up to them really quick. Tyler Bilodeau went down against Michigan State. And then I believe Donovan Dent in the first 10 minutes of this game went out against Purdue. Both injuries are not serious. They'll both be able to play in the NCAA tournament. That's not really something that you should be concerned about. But that was the primary driver for this loss. Both players actually could have played, but Mick Cronin made the decision to leave them on the bench in case they would re-aggravate it, potentially make it worse for, the NCAA tournament when it matters more, obviously. I mean, a Big Ten tournament win means a lot, but if you're putting extra stress on your players when there's another tournament that is way more longer than, what's going on now, that's obviously a decision the coach has to make. And I believe it is in UCLA's best interest. I mean, you win this game and then you go on to play Michigan. I think losing that game by, 30 does a lot more bad than actually getting to that game. UCLA already has that Purdue win on their resume, which, makes sense why, Mick Cronin really didn't want to, force anything. But what came out of that was something that was great. We saw UCLA's bench really step forward, try to bring this game back. Purdue's largest lead of this game was 13 points at the beginning of the second half. And I thought UCLA played great to, minimize that. They played to the absolute buzzer. I mean, there was a lot of things that kind of happened to prevent that. Obviously, Oscar Clough was able to score with 2 minutes left to kind of put the dagger in, UCLA's soul to kind of lose that game for them. And then obviously, UCLA just not having that many scoring threats, couldn't kind of score in that last 2 minutes. Sky Clark was able to make a layup to bring the game within 4, but then just free throw after free throw. UCLA really wasn't getting anything going, and that's kind of how they lost this game. But more on Oscar Clough. I mean, he played amazing in this one. 17 points, 14 rebounds. We kind of knew this was going to be an issue for the Bruins. We don't have that, center, who's going to be in there, get you 8+ rebounds a game, be imposing, kind of like how Oscar Clough plays. Obviously, Eric Daly Jr. had 10 of his own, but when you kind of look at like positional wise, Eric Daly Jr. was at the 4. We didn't really have a guy at the 5, right? We had Steven Jamerson. He played 13 minutes, and Xavier Booker. Both players were the primary, center of this game. Those two combined for just 2 rebounds on the game. Xavier Booker played 27 minutes, and as UCLA's tallest guy on the court, that is a little concerning when you kind of think about how far UCLA can go. Because, I mean, obviously Tyler Bilodeau is normally at that 5 when he's not injured, and he wasn't there. But, behind him, UCLA's kind of had to rely on the guards to make up the rebounding. Eric Freeney, he had 5 himself. But outside of that, there's not really any notable rebounding performances. UCLA got out-rebounded 37-26. Again, just a really bad performance from UCLA. I did not like what I saw. UCLA also was not really getting, enough points. Those second chance points that make, Purdue that allowed Purdue to win this game easier. I mean, Purdue had 13 offensive rebounds, 17 second chance points. That was kind of again, another nail in the coffin for UCLA. But again, not too concerned about this game. UCLA just kind of wanted to get it over with. You don't want to play an extra game when, you're already in the tournament. Where they stand, I don't think their seed is going to get affected. I think at max, they would have maybe moved up to a 7 seed. or a 6 seed if they would have won this game, maybe even a 5 seed if they would have done well against Michigan. But I don't think this game will have any negative effect on their seeding. Again, I mean, the factors that kind of played into it: no Dent, no Bilodeau, and it was a close game against Purdue. If anything, this looks worse on Purdue's side of things. But UCLA played a great tournament. The Michigan State win is going to help bolster up their resume even more. So I can see them entering, that 7 seed spot. But they should stay there. I don't expect them to go any lower or any higher. I think a 7 seed is probably where it's going to be at. So again, this win really doesn't really matter for UCLA. It would have been nice, but again, UCLA beat them when Purdue stock was at its highest, when they were the number 4 team in the country. So ultimately, I'd rather have that win than this win, all things considered. But yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to get an opportunity to play against Michigan, but still, I don't think UCLA would have wanted to extend that effort for a game that really doesn't matter for the postseason. Like I said, a Big Ten auto bid would have been nice, but still, you get what you get. But kind of looking at overall player performances, it was fairly balanced. I mean, Trent Perry, 15 points, 4 of 12 from the field, 6 from 6 from the free throw. He had 9 assists, 3 rebounds. He had a pretty great game. I thought he filled in Donovan Dent's shoes well. That looks like a Donovan Dent stat line when you kind of look at it. So again, it would have been nice if Dent was there to complement it, but it's just, college basketball players are going to get hurt. It's a part of the game. You can't really complain. Xavier Booker, 12 points. He got hot early, 5 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, 1 rebound. Again, iffy performance. I don't like to see that at all. I thought he was supposed to be that game changer. When I saw the final or the starting lineup and I saw him there, I knew it was going to be kind of an iffy game for UCLA to begin with. I thought with how Brandon Williams has been playing that he would have been able to make more of an impact. Williams didn't have the best game either. So again, I think it is what it is for UCLA. It's just a tough time to be a Bruin. Sky Clark, he had a decent game, 10 points, 4 of 11 from the field, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Still want to see more scoring from him, but again, can't really complain. I mean, everything was all out of order in this one. Eric Freeney, great game from him. I think he's going to be a great piece for UCLA in the future and in the tournament. I think he provides a great depth for UCLA's guards. And he can also be pesky as, like a forward. I believe he is like 6'4", so he has that ability to play good defense. He hit 8 points, 3 of 4 from the field, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, played 23 minutes. He played well. I'm really getting excited to see how well Eric Freeney has kind of stepped up recently. He's going to be a starter for UCLA next season, no doubt about it. Brandon Williams, a little disappointing, 3 points, 4 fouls, 20 minutes of play. He was, that kind of physical guy against Michigan State. I thought I'd see more of him in this one. We really didn't. And again, this was just not UCLA's game to win. It was kind of set when Donovan Dent went out, but I thought UCLA still fought very hard. And I really liked how they played. Steven Jamerson, 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field. I want to see more rebounding from him. Again, him and Booker just need to step it up. 2 rebounds combined at that center position is just unacceptable. And that severely limits UCLA's ceiling in the tournament. But outside of that, Jamar Brown, I don't know what's going on with him. I thought he was, UCLA's 6th man. But again, 0 points on 2 minutes. It doesn't really look like Mick Cronin is really making an effort to get him involved. And yeah, that's just kind of the realism of what UCLA is kind of having to deal with now. But I'm still confident for the tournament. When that starts, I think, again, UCLA 7 seed, they're going to be able to play an opponent who's a higher seed than them. And with how UCLA's played, I don't think there's any way they don't get out of the round of 64. And yeah, I think their ceiling after the tournament is probably, Sweet 16, maybe even Elite 8 if, their path is nice. Again, that's just what it is for UCLA. And then kind of looking around, I thought, again, UCLA's bench played well. I mean, 26 points. I think that really helped UCLA. That's what we needed, and we got that. So I think when we kind of look at the tournament and what UCLA has going in, there's a lot of things to be excited about. Obviously, Bilodeau and Donovan Dent are going to come back. And then obviously UCLA's bench is playing the best it has all season, and that's going to be a good thing for Bruins Nation. Selection Sunday is coming up. I can't wait to kind of recap that, kind of break down all of UCLA's matchups. But that's all I really have for today, and thank you so much. And as always, fours up and have a good day.